where is the Uranus much faster than the Ling in terms of jungle farming, and how impactful is the Uranus within a lot of these objective takes?
Well, we'll get to see the answer to every single one of those questions as we jump into the Land of Dawn for game number 1 of our second match of MWI. Will it be the virtues of Mekong or the terrors of Myanmar that secure victory in game number 1?
Quick little aggression, especially from Ku over onto the jungle side. Starsway needs to try to push her away because there is always that threat of the buff getting stolen, and trying to get back into the battle would be a little bit tougher. You have to pop that retribution off the bat. Try to take it away from the hands of Ku, but just giving a little bit more information. But on the bottom side, Daisy taking too much damage from the CC, so that shows a little bit more dynamic into how Terra Queens wants to play this very aggressively.
Yeah, that's what we were worried about, right? The Phobius loses lane to CC, so Virtus.pro picking this into the counter matchup is very risky. Loses out EXP lane pressure. Ku gonna try and annoy Starsoy again, but this time Sa is around, and you do not want to mess with a Kimi level 1 and 2. It just creates so much pressure.
And speaking of pressure, Terra Queens are on reconnaissance duty. They're always in Virtus.pro's jungle. Taking a look at itemizations, and nothing screams out to me on the top of my head. But now look at where that Uranus is. Starsoy is being pummeled on by the two double fighters in the bottom side.
Still okay though, Uranus is pretty bulky even at this stage of the game, and will definitely have a lot of Radiant stacks built up since the jungle creeps are just gonna be hitting them back. So even a Hilda is not gonna very easily chase Starsoy out of the jungle, and that'll allow Virtus.pro to play for a potential turtle contest as long as they can give a bit of help to the EXP lane.
No level 3 from Cal and Ku as of now. You're able to push that in. A lot of damage down by Cal. Starsoy tries to...
Traction Pulse can be avoided by Hling. Starsoy still in position. We can see Rui actually picking up another buff. So Ling going to be 1 level up on the Uranus. That should give Terra Queens a potential advantage on Turtle Take. Infernal Pursuit comes in. Kao going to be buying some time as Ku eating up the damage from Daisy, baiting the Phobius away from the rest of the team. Terra Queens taking this very slowly. Daisy now going to be engaged on the Lantern. Pick up on Daisy, forces the flicker outwards. Rui comes in, does the damage, chases Virtus.pro back into the mid lane, and Terra Queens gain control on the turtle.
That's how they want to play it. Terra Queens has a lot of early game damage. You don't have to have that level 4. Starsoy taking a lot more.
Starsoy might go down here, is able to get away. Rui secures the turtle. Tempest Blaze comes out. 1v3 in the turtle pit as the rest of Terra Queens turn around and pick up the first blood on Kao. Daisy gonna be chased down as well. Double kill over to Rui. And the Purify even forced out. Sa not gonna be able to escape from the terror in the Land of Dawn.
Where everything broke down was that they pushed Starsoy away, and this is where it gets a little bit risky. Yeah, Ku also stole the orange buff away from Starsoy, so that leaves 2 levels behind of Rui. This is not a good start for Virtus.pro, but then again, it is so difficult for Virtus.pro to play this early game because of how well Terra Queens has that damage and that crowd control, especially from the Juicin whenever they come into that clash moment.
You can tell that the draft was played kind of defensive. Kao in trouble again. Ku on top. Oh, that is a lot of damage. Fistcrack comes in, but here comes Rui. Killing spree to the Ling. And now chasing down the purple buff, contesting it away. 3 level difference on the Ling. Looks like Starsoy was still able to secure their purple buff though.
Hey, Silver Lining. You need to take the purple buff away. Try to claw yourself up on top again as Virtus.pro actually back on that defense. Terra Queens 4 kills to 0, and this shows the amount of aggression that Terra Queens wants to put onto Virtus.pro. They need to be able to draw some more time though. Virtus.pro might be able to play it more safe, wait till 1-1 or Liv gets online, wait till Kao gets a little bit of an angle, finds a nice little flank for any team fights. But Rui's already 301. There's a lot of damage from that Ling on the top side though.
Rui wants to pick off Sa, gonna use the anti-grav thrusters, get away through the back of the purple buff pit. But Terra Queens living up to their name, terrorizing the map, not allowing Virtus to even play on their own half of the jungle.
That's it. I think Virtus.pro early game is in shambles. Look towards that mid game. How do you want to play this? Liv trapped in the middle though, on by 3.
Looks like Terra Queen's not going to commit to this. They don't really need to. They just zone out. They gain control. Turtle is coming up.
There's not a lot of fight that Virtus.pro can do is 3K gold lead up on top for Terror Queens. And giving away this turtle might be the best option here, as Virtus.pro don't want to throw bodies. They want to be able to play objective. They want to be able to push and wait till that late game until most of them get to their power spike. Starsoy can't even sustain over the damage coming in from Ku, so that's going to be a huge problem from that. How do you want to play it though? Again,
oh my goodness, Ku. Nearly 1v1ing the jungler as the roam. They're the same level, by the way. That's how far behind Starsoy has been put. 5 minutes into the game, we are looking at a 4K net worth lead. By the way, Sa went for a Sky Piercer first item. I'm not sure I agree with that, considering the state Virtus.pro is in. But hey, you made your bed, now you gotta rest in it.
Yeah, you have that early game rotations, but Terror Queen's reading it so well. They're matching that rotations and sending Sikoshi down to deal with the waves, and now the top side T1 is already broken down. This gives a lot of opportunity for Rui to place cross-map plays for the side of Virtus.pro. There's not anyone that you can actually feasibly send at this point to maintain that wave prio. So Virtus.pro sitting ducks for now until maybe the first Lord comes up. But silver lining is that they're very patient. They're playing defensive. They don't want to throw their bodies in the mid side though.
Daisy trying to look for the fight. Infernal Pursuit doing good damage to flicker backwards defensively. Daisy just, no, doesn't get away. Luna Lin has the Sky Piercer. Lantern finishes off the Phobius, and the terror continues in the mid lane as now Starsoy in a little bit of trouble, has to use the ult to get away. They're trying to re-engage, but the curtain call latches two together. Starsoy can only eat damage to keep his team alive.
Not a lot of damage so far. There's a problem with the 1-1 pick. You don't deal a lot of damage in the early game. You need to wait till your Trinity build. And this is proving to be a little bit tougher. And for Ku to match that level that Starsoy is at is not where you want to see yourself.
It absolutely isn't. The Uranus jungle should be able to hold things well, but Terror Queens have done such a good job of controlling the map. Purify forced out on Sa again. Cow goes for the flicker and is not able to lock down the Zeus in.
Yeah. Virtus.pro actually sending all their resources to protecting all the crucial buffs that Starsoy actually needs to come online. There is sort of like a crucial moment. Look at the bottom side as well, where Sakoshi's busy handling that
Liv
T2.
is in trouble. Oh my goodness, the Sky Piercer! How many stacks does Luna Lin have? Liv just exploded, and now Cow is gonna be chased down, gonna follow her into the grave. Double kill for Luna Lin. And by the way, Sikoshi got a free tier 2 down bottom this entire time.
It's in shambles. Right now, 7,000 gold lead. Rui's always in question. Is able to burst down Starsoy.
Rui is just diving. Tier 2 diving inhibitor. Wants to kill Sa. Able to escape just barely. Rui now in some trouble. Doesn't have energy. But the rest of the Terror Queens are here. Ku heals her up with the Revitalize. And the mid tier 2 is being slowly whittled down. Virtus.pro not able to do anything about it.
Even in the defensive position, Virtus.pro might not be able to succumb to the aggression that comes from Terror Queens. They don't really have a lot of high ground defense. The only one that can effectively clear waves might be Kimmy. The 1-1's still not online as of now. They have to build more defensively to try to buy themselves some more time, but Terror Queens not giving them the luxury of time. Still 0 kills from Virtus.pro. They don't have that damage to take anyone down, and they don't have that defense to soak in as much damage.
This composition doesn't allow Virtus to be the one making the initiations. They've lost out lane priority in almost every half of the map. And with them so far behind in EXP and gold, it's very difficult for them to even contest the Hilda, let alone the rest of the Terror Queens. We are 9 minutes in. The gold difference is already 9,000. We are reaching the point of no return.
That's a fat stack and a half, if I could say so myself, as they're trying to get a little bit more silver lining, deal a little bit more damage, try to test the waters a little bit, but this is where things get a little bit more tricky for Virtus.pro. If Terror Queens is able to take that Lord away, and take down all of the T3s, that leaves Virtus.pro wide and open. They don't really have a lot of defense.
Starsoy gets picked up, just barely gets away. Tempest Blades also going to be used. Traction Pulse completely whiffs it as Luna Lin uses the ult to dash out to safety. Virtus.pro are able to keep their towers alive and everyone still standing, but Terror Queens have complete control of the map and the Lord.
Complete control is an understatement. This is more of a dominant performance from Terror Queens than it is Virtus.pro. They're just in here for the ride. And they, honestly though, Sadafa, I think Virtus.pro should just look towards that next game. Terror Queens already taken down that first Lord.
They found Liv, and look, Lunalin's already on the opposite side. Crossbow of Tang is available, but Liv knows that there's no point going for it. Tempest of Blades, Rui just stabs Liv to death. Mega kill.
Now without the marksman, will be that much more harder. You still have 10 more seconds until the Lord spawns up for the side of Terror Queen, so this gives Liv some time to get online and get that respawn. But again, you don't want to make these kinds of risky plays. You built or you have a Ube composition, play towards your teamfight composition, and Terror Queens are just breaking them apart one after another. What a risky play by Liv.
It's risky, but it's kind of something they have to try and do. It just didn't pay off for them, and now the lead is growing even further. Lord pushing down mid lane for the Terror Queens. 10.5 minutes in is dominant. Fistcrack comes in, only locks down Sikoshi, and he just dashes away. Kui's all the damage. It's unstoppable for Lunalin as they execute them one by one. The bowling pins fall right before the eyes of the Terror Queens. Triple kill to Lunalin, and the crystal is wide open as the Terror Queens prove their confidence is not unfounded and take the victory in game number 1.
This wasn't just Terror Queens as a team. This was basically a ballistic missile, homing missile, and targeting the face of Virtus.pro. There was basically nothing they could do. Even with the fist crack at the last moment, it wasn't enough damage. And if you have a Ryu Ranus, what you want to do is soak in that damage. You want to take that damage. But you take a couple hits, you can't even... You just can't. Sadafa, man, this has been such a... The emotions running high.
You can see there's a lot of passion in the game right now. Terror Queens feeling very, very happy and comfortable about what they've achieved here. But Virtus.pro feeling the impact of the damage that has been done. The series is not over, but this might affect their performance going into the next game.
I'll say, get the resets going on. I think there is definitely a lot of emotions running high, especially for Virtus.pro. But it's still the first game. There's always ways to come back in. But we talked way too much. Let's bring Leo into the fray and talk about the highlights that we see here.
Gentlemen, I think you talked the right amount. But I would love to. Thank you so much for looping me back into the conversation. It's true that emotions run high, and this being the opener for Virtus.pro, after everything that has been said, I would understand why there is some disappointment in their own performance. But looking at the lineup, right, starting with the draft, I think it's one thing to say the damage profile is good, especially since there's a solid amount of magic from the Kimi. There's a solid amount of damage from the 1-1, but both are relatively conditional.
Yes.
Especially the 1-1. That one moment in the twilight of the game, I'd say the last 2 minutes, wherein they actually, weirdly enough, caught out Liv. Like that's not supposed to happen.
Yep.
Liv tried too hard, and maybe there wasn't enough communications happening from Virtus.pro, and I think that much is true. We can only guess what was going on, but I can tell you this: being in the SEC studios and listening to the difference between both sides, Terror Queens are laughing, Terror Queens are communicating, they are just shouting out, calling every move, and that's good. That's a sign of life coming from a team. And when a team is quiet, when they're not saying anything, you know something's wrong.
Yes.
That's what happened to Virtus.pro.
Honestly, I don't even really blame Virtus.pro too much about this. I don't even blame Liv for going all the way out and getting caught out there, because you really just have to try and make something happen in that position. Get some farm, pull some pressure elsewhere. She actually almost made the recall back home. It was just like a fraction of a second off, but I think that this draft did not do them any favors. You take one look at it and you can instantly identify every single hero on the Virtus.pro lineup needs items to do something.
To be honest though, I don't think it's the draft. Like both teams, I think Virtus.pro had a very interesting draft, and it was just down to, I wouldn't say execution as well. It's just Terror Queens read their draft so well with the Hilda and the CC and Starsoy not even getting freedom of her own farm, her own economy. That shows a lot of harm coming their way.
But she didn't need it. That's the thing. Even if you are the Uranus, down 2,500 gold, 3,000 gold from the Ling, you don't care because you're still building tank items. I think the problem was not what you got, but how you used it. And I think Virtus.pro, again, for the lack of a better term, their breakdown in communications led to their lineup that needed to farm up some items where it mattered. Again, you needed it on the Kimi, you needed it on the 1-1. Hell, I think the Phoveus need a little bit of farm too. Plus the fact that Terror Queens were so comfortable. They were just so, they were flowing. Again, some teams you just watch them and you know that they're flowing. You know that what they're doing is according to their plan. That was just the perfect mix of Virtus.pro not getting anywhere with their lineup, especially with the Uranus jungle. The Uranus jungle was such a key strat for their counterparts in the men's division to do so well. And Doryu got 5 heroes banned away. Their new jungler, the Filipino import, got 5 bans away, and then they're like, we still have a Uranus. So without an Angela, mind you. But here, it was a swerve. Like, here's the thing, they didn't even need to swerve.
They didn't need to swerve.
Honestly, I feel like they put too much stock in the Uranus. They went into this draft believing Uranus jungle will handle the Hilda one-on-one, no problem. That didn't exactly go according to plan. And then if you need someone to help the Uranus, it's already kind of bad because Uranus is supposed to create space. You're not supposed to have other heroes create space for the Uranus, and that was what was happening. Even worse than that was that they didn't have any heroes to create that space because Badang can't do anything to Hilda early on, and the Phoveus was losing lane. They picked it into a losing matchup.
Yeah. It's a combination of these factors that made a bad situation worse for Virtus.pro, and for Terra Queens, again, even if they did end up playing a roam Hilda, which is, again, less than ideal most times, the fact that Virtus.pro didn't have solid ground to stand on made it passable, made it even excellent in some cases.
Yeah. What I want to point out is from the first second of the game, Ku, the Hilda, as well as the CC.
Flying Rina.
What?
Flying Rina.
Flying Rina?
Flying Rina. She was she was flying last year, and we know her as such. We loved her, but she's like Flying Rina now.
To be honest, though, they predicted where Uranus was because there's 2 options that you can go for with the Uranus. They threw all their bids into the orange buff, where Starsoy actually was in the jungle.
She struggled minute 1.
Struggled minute 1. Struggled minute 1. You see Ku immediately making a beeline for the orange buff, trying to roll that dice, and they actually hit the nail right on the spot.
1 of 50-50.
Yes.
I mean, the thing about Hilda, though, is that you don't really have to predict where your opponent is because you're following them the entire time.
Yeah, no, but the
still,
opener is
that's true.
What impressed Churros, like, what if they did not do that? What if
they did not do that? And then they're just wasting their time. At least the CC was proxying a wave and pushing Phoveus away because in the early game, CC has a lot of damage. Purple buff, but then it's much faster if it's in the orange buff. I think Starsoy just read it a little bit wrong for how they want to play this.
So what you're saying basically is that if Starsoy had started on purple instead,
it might be a different story.
It might be a different game.
Yeah. Or the other way around, if Flying Rina and Ku went to the purple and read the rotation there.
Yes.
So it was a destiny. It was serendipity for these 2
stars aligned.
Yeah, these 2 major decisions in the early game, the opener of this game 1, to lead to this. But again, that could have been just amplifying the fact that maybe Virtus.pro weren't in any good shape to take those kinds of fights anyways, you know? Like the whole compromising the Uranus to start, it's a huge thing. It's a game changer, yes, but what would they have done with that extra space? Like, would they have done better if, let's say, Starsoy had a good 5 minutes in? Because again, you're right. What do you do with that space?
Yeah.
Even if you do make space, Terra Queens picked up the perfect hero to use that space.
Yeah.
The Ling, like, if you do get space, then the Ling just goes away.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at some of the replays as well. Remember where Cal was when, the Ku was in the orange buff and the orange buff was in shambles. Cal was actually walking up from that purple buff, so she was actually giving vision onto where the buff was. And this was the one where Liv was trying to use Inspire to get away. She shouldn't be too far ahead from the rest of the team, and I think that was the whole breakdown in communication issue that Leo, you talked about.
Yeah, well, what could have the decision have been made, right? Like, I'm going to bait them away from y'all. No, you shouldn't. You're the gold laner. That's an argument you should be having. But alas, it still happened. It's still what we ended up with. And the reason why we're so fixated on these small things is because the rest of Terra Queens basically had a free game. I saw Lunalyn, believe it or not, her first real item was a Sky Piercer.
Yes.
Wasn't even the glowing one, wasn't even the boot. Maybe she had boots, I don't know. But Elegant Gem, like that cooldown book, and then Sky Piercer. That's how well they knew early on that they were going to dominate and win.
Yeah.
I think I have to also commentate on the item build on the opposite side, right? Sa on the Kimmy went Sky Piercer first item, even though they were in such a bad position.
Yep.
And then the second item was concentrated energy.
That's ballin' before you got rent covered.
It's like,
right.
why? Why is that the play? You need to be building damage. You even went Weakness
Still,
Finder,
I
right? You're
understand
not meant
where-
for utility.
I understand where she's coming from, though. Like, I mean, if Skypiercer is part of your build arsenal, you want to build it earlier on because you only have like 1,500 gold that you need to actually activate that Skypiercer. So, I mean, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Just get it and try to build other things. If it doesn't work out in the late game, then you sell it off. So I think, yeah, it kind of worked out better for the Jusin instead of the Kimmy. And to be honest, though, I think how Jusin likes to play, and I forgot this all the way back in previous 2 seasons ago, where Jusin first came out and she was being used as an aggressor. She was being used as a vision play, but now she's being used as a vision control, and of course a sort of like a crowd control setup and a hunter.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's going full circle. She's both now. She can start up fights, zone out, and then once you get your build going again, folks, do not try this home. Do not just jump to Skypiece. These are professionals, all right, competing at the highest level of MLBB esports in their realm. If you have these 2 items, the Glowing Wand and the Skypiercer, and you are way ahead, like you know that your team is ahead and you've done your job to zone out, get some vision, control fights the way teams go in and out, then yes. But as it is, that's all just spilled milk. Virtus.pro have to put on their big girl pants and say it's go time once again as we go into game number 2. Virtus.pro on the play, Terra Queens, match point. Got to answer back with a double. Churros and Stafa got to take care of business.
All right, we'll catch back up with Leo in a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, because now is the true testing ground. It is no longer just a game to see whether Virtus.pro can upgrade their gameplay. It is about whether or not they can regulate the emotional state to come back and take game number 2 to keep themselves in the series.
To be honest, though, right now, I think it's the same first pick, second pick kind of lineup. Terra Queens really like that second pick, so it's a little bit more adjustable for them. They are respecting the Hilda, and that is something that I like, but definitely Terra Queens has something up their sleeves. At least you take Hilda out of the equation, you know that your jungle is safe, and Star Sword can play a little bit more passively on that front. There seems to be a little bit of technical issues, but man, I think, what do you think would be the best case scenario, especially for Virtus.pro if they want to have take a game off of Terra Queens?
I do think you need to be a bit more balanced in the draft overall. Yes, there were ways they could have played around that hero composition, but it's difficult, right? You need items. You ideally don't want to be disrupted too heavily by the Hilda early on. And if that doesn't work out, then you just end up as a fish in the water, right? So having a composition that's a little bit more balanced, I think especially they need to have some sort of early game pressure. You gotta be able to draft to make sure that your lane is at least even. You cannot draft, especially EXP lane, you cannot draft into a losing lane. When the Phoveus couldn't do anything against the CC, it already made things way more difficult.
Yeah. Then again, I do have another question to ask you. Is there another hero that could fill the shoes of what Hilda could do, if that is the game plan for Terra Queens? I remember it used to be like either the Hilda or either the Jawhead or Khalid.
Yeah.
That was the main aggressor heroes. Does this work around the composition that Terra Queens might want to pick up?
I think it's possible. With Hilda already gone, you could definitely still go. Oh, well.
Yeah, there's a Khalid getting banned out.
Okay, I'm a little concerned about that. Getting rid of the Hilda, all right, makes sense. But I feel like if you are banning Hilda and Khalid, you are leaving yourself very vulnerable to some of the meta picks in the meta right now. And if you are this unconfident about dealing with picks like this, like you could call them cheese picks, then other teams know that that is a weapon that can be used against you.
I think there is still quite a bit of options. Terra Queens might not ban out the Uranus right here because they know the power of the Uranus and how to deal with that. So that was just basically their testing ground into how they want to play around a Uranus build. Typically it used to be Prio, but right now Terra Queens don't give a flying fish of what Virtus.pro wants to pick up if it was that Uranus pick. Now, do you want to force Star Sword in an assassin role this time around? I think that would be a much better option right here. But then again, knowing how Terra Queens likes to be more aggressive, that could be the Achilles heel that breaks Virtus.pro down?
I think you still want to stick to comfort somewhat. You don't want to put yourself too out there. But having a more universal hero as a first pick would probably be best. They went 1-1 as their first pick in the previous game, which put them in a really vulnerable spot. They're going to go for the Farsa this time around, which I think fits into a lot of compositions.
Yeah.
But you have to be a little bit afraid when you pick this hero so early, because instantly Terra Queens knows we just draft CC, we draft backline counters.
Yeah, it could be the Gatot right here. The Badang will be their hero of choice, but it could go into the Gatot as well. It might not be shoved away from the table again. This time around will be the Joy though.
Ooh.
So in the first game, Virtus.pro actually hyper-focused on respecting Rui's heroes and taking out all of the assassins. Now, what can do with that Joy in Virtus.pro's eyes? There seems to be all the assassins wide open. Starstory might pick up a Ling, or it used to be the Suyo going head-to-head with the Joy as well. They might try to pull that out of the way if everything else goes south.
Joy is already pretty scary. It's a very good answer towards the Farsa, and you just need to have crowd control on your side to deal with it. Ruby, one of my preferences, is definitely out there. The classic counters to Joy would be things like Belleric or Tigreal, but we haven't seen a lot of that recently. They're gonna go for the safer option. That's gonna be the Gatot, as well as the 1-1. Definitely has the mobility to outpace a Joy once you have the items.
I don't know why they wanted to play around the 1-1 twice in the game. And up against the Irithel, no less. I think Irithel would have been a much better option. I have to agree with Leo. We talked about this before, that Irithel does have a little bit more flexibility to play around. And you don't need to wait till you have a Trinity build in order to deal that much damage. From level 1, you have, once you throw out your combos, you can burst your opponent, lane opponent down and basically push them away from any of that gold. So it still has that dominance factor in the lane. 1-1 still needs a bit of time, but right now there is a little bit more of a rotation speed coming in from the Farsa and the Gatot, so that might change things, but it's all down to execution, Sadafa.
Yeah, Virtus.pro needs to make sure that they ban out heroes that would deny mid lane prio to a Farsa Gatot duo, because that would enable the Joy to farm very safely and give Terra Queens access to their jungle. I really like the Fredrin ban from Terra Queens, because typically when you play 1-1, it's for one of two conditions. You either have a lot of CC on your side to set things up for the crossbow of Tang, or your opponent has a slower, bulkier front line that's easier to get the stacks on. Fredrin fulfills this role on both teams, so Terra Queens just takes it out of the table.
Tian has also been taken out by Virtus.pro over the side of Terra Queen, so you don't want to have that range-to-range matchup for that Farsa, giving Sa an easier time in the mid side. For now, though, Matilda getting taken out by Terra Queens as well. I think they want to try to take out all of the Enchanter heroes. I think for Terra Queens, they need an EXP lane as well as either a roam or a mid. EXP or roam or mid.
I do think that Badang is typically more comfortable in roam nowadays, especially, so it is probably EXP mid. You would want to go mid here first for Terra Queen, since you already know their mid lane matchup. That is the Farsa. Virtus.pro get rid of the CC.
I would say CC is a very good ban. In the previous game, that CC was just running circles around Virtus.pro. Now you take that out of the equation, and you're not dealing with the same heroes that you are before. I think if the Badang is put in the roam position and Terra Queens basically play to their own modus operandi and just going headfirst into the jungle, if they make the right call and they suss out where Starstory is, it might be a little bit different for Terra Queens in how they want to react to this, because Badang generally doesn't have a lot of damage in the early game.
What would be good here for Terra Queens in their mid lane?
Kimmy is still
Zusin
open.
has been banned. Yeah, Kimmy could be an option.
Selena once again.
Okay, of course. Against the Farsa, Selena going to be a very good choice. Is risky, because if you're not able to land those arrows, then it becomes very difficult to play with. And against the 1-1 especially, is a difficult hero to execute on, but we've already seen it done to a very effective degree by Navi MWI in our first match of the day, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you. I think Navi MWI played the Selena very well, but therein comes several factors that you want to throw out there. There is the primary engager and then the secondary engager. Typically, the Selena comes in with the Abyssal Arrow as a secondary engager, so you're throwing all your eggs into one basket with the Badang, trying to set up with a fist crack. So I think that would be the condition that Terra Queen wants to play around. And speaking of your checklist, I think it kind of ticks all the boxes, right? You have a little bit more vision play, but then again, Virtus.pro responds with the Eastern Shin Phobia's pickup. I do like the Eastern Shin to understand a little bit more vision play, but then now it becomes a little bit more vulnerable because you're an assassin marksman in the jungle.
Yeah, Yisun Shin has the potential to be vulnerable to a Joy later on in the game as well. It really is a skill-based matchup. The Phobius is going to help alleviate some of that pressure since it is the direct counter to the Joy. But with no EXP lane revealed just yet, there's still the possibility of a counter. They got rid of the CC specifically to make sure they could lock in this Phobius, and I imagine that Coach MSK would have definitely seen that from a mile away. So yeah, there it is. That's what I was wondering about. It's either the Glue or the X-Borg, and the latter here is going to do a great job of controlling the front line for Terra Queens.
Yeah, it typically leaves 1-1 out of the equation. There's nothing that I mean, if you pop the weakness points and you throw the crossbow tank onto the X-Borg, it doesn't really matter. The Firaga armor comes off and you basically throw yourself away. And there's a lot of hints on X-Borg actually coming up into the meta as well because you have more spins in the Last Insanity.
Yep.
And you have a lot more true damage that you can pile on top of yourself. So I think the tanks for the side of Virtus.pro is a non-factor in the eyes of the Terra Queens.
We're once again seeing really good flexibility in the way that Terra Queens are drafting. There are more tools for Virtus.pro to play around this time, but they once again gotta keep their jungle safe, play around the mid lane priority, and give their Phobius some help because their EXP laner had a lot of difficulty in the previous game, which meant that the map could not be unlocked. Let's see if they're going to be able to hit these conditions because they have their backs against the wall. Can the Terra Queens spread their terrifying aura across the Land of Dawn once again in game number 2?
Pressure's on for Virtus.pro. If Virtus.pro loses this one, they're taking a whole game out of their hands. But right now, we don't see the same aggression that Terra Queens has brought upon the Polar Bears in this round. There's a little bit more held back, a little bit more patient. They want to wait till Rui gets that power spike. Take a look at emblems, not a lot of differences, but I do like the killing spree coming out from this Irithal. So Sakoshi looking for that late game. Whenever you get a snowball rolling, you want to be able to come in.
Oh, the engage onto Cow forces out the Revitalize, but that's a pretty good battle spell to get rid of early on. And that means Terra Queens are actually winning out a little bit in that mid lane prio.
But still, Virtus.pro having a much better start. You don't really have the aggression that the Hilda, that the CC brings on top of the Eastern Shin. And what you need as an assassin is basically a little bit more space, a little bit more time to farm up and get your power spikes. And Eastern Shin is known to be one of the, if not the fastest junglers. We have the world record level 15 in less than 8 minutes on an Eastern Shin. So if Starstory plays her cards right, it might be a really easy time for Virtus.pro.
That's why it comes in. Mountain Shocker dropped on Hlang. Gonna be able to burn away the Firaga armor, force them back to base, but Abyssal Arrow comes in from the mid lane. Daisy gonna be caught out. The Flicker doesn't dodge as Lunalin picks up first blood.
Beautiful dashes from the Selena, and I saw what Daisy was doing there. The Abyssal Arrow was coming in, but he was going left and right, wasn't she was a little bit confused. The arrow comes in, gets stunned up, and basically Starstory can't do anything about it. But first blood goes up.
Gonna be caught out with feathered airstrike. The artillery strike alongside the 1-1 picks up the kill, but Rui gets the turtle.
I spoke a little bit too soon. Terra Queen's ramping up the aggression. Helen Arena coming into the jungles, and you see Rui trying to pop that retribution away. Won't be able to get it though, but buys themselves some time to get into position where Terra Queens is able to understand the rotations of Virtus.pro a little bit better. Now Rui, it's free map, free play for her. She can go into the enemy's jungles, go to her jungles, and just farm up whenever she wants.
Yeah, we can really see why Virtus.pro devoted so many ban slots to Rui's assassins in game number 1, because you could see that there's a really notable awareness in rotation of how aggressive she can afford to play on the map. And yeah, even though she didn't manage to steal the buff away, the damage is still done.
Yeah, you got Mountain Shocker already used up by Starstory, so Vision play. Oh!
The arrow actually
long
hits
range.
Luna Lin, flickers forward! Executes Star Soy from a mile away.
Must be happy about that one. Man, what a shot from Terror Queens. And right now, Virtus.pro, they don't have that momentum that they had in the early game. We're seeping into 3 minutes, 50 seconds till the next turtle spawns up. And Rui's actually 2 levels, it's right up ahead in terms of Star Soy's rotations just because of that death.
And that was a really unfortunate timing for the Yisun Shin, and it felt like a really dodgeable arrow as well. It's like Star Soy wasn't actually paying attention to the map, and you cannot afford to have that happen when a Selena is walking around.
I'm trying to wrap my head around what is happening around Virtus.pro. They had such a strong time in adjusting in their Mekong qualifiers, but now going up against the Burmese team, it kind of seems like they're intimidated, they're scared, they don't know what to expect.
Cool with the fist crack, lockdown 3! Infernal Pursuit comes in from Daisy. Peng Rina coming in to back up the mid lane as well. No casualties here.
Coming out of nowhere, I think Virtus.pro, they're desperate in trying to find a target to take down. I know they take down one hero on the top side. It's Sakoshi who went down, but now there's no way they can get close to the turret.
Better airstrike committed on top of Ku. AOG gonna be used as well. Meanwhile, the backline is being bursted with the last Insanity. Hangreina forced to flicker away. Luna Lin finally caught as well. Star Soy getting some much needed revenge. Kao gonna be holding the front line. Revitalize still available, keeping her intact and forcing Terror Queens to retreat.
That is the play that Virtus.pro wants to execute. A little bit more defensive, wait till Terror Queens come in, but it kind of seems like they're throwing away the objectives. And right now, Virtus.pro, they have their first lead of 2 games they had so far. Scoreline 2-2. It's a slight lead, but it's more than enough.
It's something. At least they will have a foothold to put themselves into the game. Liv also has been farming pretty well overall, so Virtus.pro will be able to play more towards their mid to late game scaling, especially with a Farsa as well. Looking at the items, we're already seeing the first being completed.
Yeah, we're starting to see the rotations. Loose member Star Soy actually having on going onto the long lane, trying to maintain that lane, Prio pushing it in and trying to draw Terror Queens away from that. The power spike has ended, the scoreline is equalized, and Virtus.pro has a fighting chance for this last turtle of the game. If things go well...
Better Strike comes in, Cool gonna be caught between 3 members. Virtus.pro executes the Terror Queen roamer.
Defensive play coming in from Virtus.pro allows them to secure another kill. This is how Virtus.pro wants to play around. They're not too busy rushing into any of these team fights. They want to draw them in and try to play a little bit more reactively onto Terror Queens. They know that Terror Queens are very aggressive. Just let them come. And then Virtus.pro just comes in for that defensive play.
I think it is a smart idea. Their counter attack is actually pretty good, especially if they can time feathered airstrike for when Terror Queens have already overcommitted, but it's giving space to Rui. Feathered airstrike comes out once again. Ferraga armor burnt down on playing Rina. Ku trying to go for the flank, not able to find it. Crossbow tank comes out, AOG cuts him off, Fitz crack. Not gonna be able to buy more taste for him. Ku gonna be picked off straight away. Terror Queens still in position, but they don't have a lot of HP to work with anymore.
And Arena still has the immortality. They're waiting and buying some time, but Virtus.pro will snap pick this turtle up. You don't see Rui in position anywhere at all, but it's a 2 turtle for 1 trade out of both sides. Daisy
1v2 actually burns away the immortality. Liv picks off Sakoshi with the feathered airstrike as well on the top lane. Playing Rina gonna recall backwards. Virtus.pro finally in control. Mountain Shocker stuns the Joy. Rui goes back in just to pick up 1 final camp. But Virtus.pro finally in control.
Finally, after the second game, the first game, a lot of emotion. Second game, it's personal for them. This time around, they know their win condition. Star Soy is coming up online. You have the vision play around. Luna Lin, the early game is over, and it will be easy for Virtus.pro to take her down. Late game, Selena is a non-factor for the lineup such as Virtus.pro. It's not too viable in team fights, so Daisy's able to just zone out that back
Conceal
line.
play. They're looking for Rui down bottom. Rui realizing, uh-oh, this is a bad spot. Unbreakable into the feathered airstrike, and Liv picks up the last hit. Killing spree for the 1-1.
23 seconds, she'll never get back as the Lord spawns up. Look at where Star Soy is. She's handling herself over on that X-Borg.
Playing Rina, not successful in stealing the purple buff, actually loses her entire Ferraga armor, gets caught with the Dark Wave. Daisy not gonna overcommit this time. The damage is done.
That being said, though, Sakoshi busy with the side lane pushes. You want to maintain that side lane priority. They have a lot of pressure on the back row.
That's right. They caught out Ku, forces the flicker. Badang gonna survive, but no battle spell for the next 2 minutes.
8 minutes on the clock, 30 seconds until the Lord spawns up. Virtus.pro moving as a unit. Terra Queen splitting all of themselves up. They seem a little bit desperate, but Sakoshi has an idea of trying to get that side lane split push up, get a little bit more farm, and when she comes online, the rest should be history. The longer this game goes, it goes in the favor of Terra Queens. They have a little bit more tankier lineup in the form of that export and a lot more burst damage from Irithel.
Now we are reaching the point where Virtus.pro is able to play more of a death ball style, and it does seem like they're more comfortable in that position overall. Terra Queens aren't out of the game just yet, but you can see that they're a little more uncomfortable now that they are on the back foot. Next Lord currently in control of VP.
Virtus.pro starting things off, but I think Terra Queens
in trouble. Federico also catches Rui in the backline. He's sidestepping it, but that means the Joy is out of the fight. Last time he comes in, Starsai gonna be picked up. Star steals the Lord away. Liv gonna be picked up by Rui. It is absolute chaos in the Lord pit. Sakoshi still inside the fight, will lead the retreat, allowing Terra Queens to back off.
Very good try. I saw that Rui was being targeted on by Sa, able to dip out of the way and try to get in for that retribution. Unfortunately, though, it was a little bit too late as Sa actually picks that up with a skill 1, skill 2 combination. But then again, it buys Virtus.pro some time. This game is a little bit closer, but I think it's still anyone's game. Take a look at the replay. Look at where Sa is. They know where Rui is. It will dip out of the way. You get the Last Insanity deep into enemy territory, but it was a little bit too soon. If Arena waited for a couple more seconds, the Lord would have been theirs. It doesn't seem that Rui would be able to get in position in time.
But Arena actually had to go in there. The Last Insanity comboed with Ku was actually what allowed them to take out Starsoy in the first place, and that's what allowed it to be a 50-50. It was just unlucky that Sao was the one to get the last hit. But it's still actually not a bad trade. Terra Queens have been able to halve the net worth difference at this point.
Yeah, it's still a long game to play. Virtus.pro wants to push it through the late game. It will be all even Stevens.
That's right, comes out once again. Infernal Pursuit follows Ku all the way into the mid tower. Last Insanity used for defensive options. Terra Queen gonna be able to keep their mid tower standing.
Their goal is to just keep their T1 mid up. As long as Terra Queens is able to still take control of their jungle, they could sort of like sustain their farm over onto Virtus.pro. If their jungles open up, I think it gives a lot of opportunity for them to come in.
Flicker, Fist Crack connects to it too, but in the mid lane, Cow already chasing down the back line. Sa picks up the Badang. Revitalize gonna be used by Cow. Rui looking for the entrance, but the Mountain Sucker locks her down, forces the retreat. Virtus.pro deny the attempt.
Super risky play from Rui, just jumping right in, taking the full brunt of damage from Starsoy, Cow, and Liv. Man, this is a very tough matchup right now as we're seeping into that late game. 12-minute mark. Lord spawns up in 50 seconds. Does look like the airstrike.
Sakoshi in some trouble, but able to get out of that. I do like that size, creating a lot of pressure. Has to be careful though. Terra Queens is going to eventually figure out the patterns if there's not enough adaptability.
When you slow down tempo just a little bit, especially for Terra Queens, they can't find a way back into this fight. As Virtus.pro, they're leading and dominating this game so much more. And every time Daisy opening up that map, Terra Queens need to find a viable pickoff. Starsoy though.
Starsoy in trouble, able to dash away, but now the Purified count out from Sa, actually dodging everything. But Sakoshi picks up the shutdown. Crossbow of Tang finishes off Ku in the backline, but it's still a pretty good trade for the Terra Queens.
1-to-1, Sa for Ku. It's so much better for Terra Queens. They don't have that the mid lane from Virtus.pro to zone themselves out from this Lord. They're able to handle that side lane. Then this Lord should be theirs. And this is the 12-minute Lord, mind you. Sudafa is looking really good and really even Stevens for both teams. And it's a trade for trade, tit for tat for either sides. And I think that the one that would lose out on this game is the one that manages the side waves. And speaking of which, Liv already pushing that in. So they're pulling Terra Queens away from that Lord pit to deal with the bottom side.
Yeah, macro play is probably going to become quite a big role in determining who actually comes out on top here. Terra Queens have been able to narrow down the net worth difference quite a bit. Mountain Shocker going to be used. Rui scouted out in the bush behind Daisy, making sure they can't enter. Conceal going to be scouted out as well. Ku forced to use the dash to get out of Feathered Airstrike, but the Abyssal Arrow connects. Here comes the last Insanity. Terra Queens are stepping on the gas pedal. AOG comes in defensively. Daisy buying a lot of time against caught in the fist crack killing spree to Sakoshi as Terra Queens regains control of the river.
Very smart move from Terra Queens, but Virtus.pro also was too trigger happy with the Feather Airstrike. Cal trying to buy a little bit more consolation prizes.
Gets the taunt on Hlang Rina. One hit away from death, but still holding on to that immortality. Lord down to 30%. Cal gonna be jumped on by Luna Lin. Stunned once again with the fist break. Feather Airstrike gonna be used. Terra Queens chooses to reset the Lord, start the Lord dance all over again.
Again, even with a low cooldown, Terra Queens, they understand the window of opportunity where Sa uses the Feather Airstrike. Ku
misses the fist crack. Sarsoy gets away. Last Insanity comes out, but Ku goes down. Immortality burnt on Hlang Rina. And now being chased down. Xborg will survive. But Virtus.pro now the leaders of the dance.
This is a very different crew that we're seeing in this game.
Again, he tried to go in for the steal at the last minute, but caught, stunned, taunted, literally everything under the sun thrown at her, and the joy falls.
Ku is just sacrificing her own body. She was down low. She knows that Sa still has the Feather Airstrike. Taking a look at itemizations, it does look like Wanwan and Erytha are online. The good thing about Wanwan is that you don't even need to buy boots. That might be a defensive item like an Immortality just to keep her alive just for now. And the zone potential from that Farsa is actually too much for Terra Queens to handle. And now Luna Lin or the Selena doesn't have that value coming in.
Mountain Shocker burns out the Faraga armor. Liv, you can see the 1-1 already becoming a problem, level 15, and probably close to max build at this point. A Malefic Roar now completed for Starsoy as well. Terra Queens simply do not have enough consistent damage.
Macro game, bottom side pushed up. Terra Queens can't find himself to split. You got a nice Abyssal Arrow onto Daisy though. Virtus.pro just slowly waiting. At the very least, they could take out that T3 top side.
But they could be looking for an endgame where Predator Airstrike comes up. Purify can be used. Sakoshi survives all of it. Predator Airstrike already used as well. Inferno plus 2 buying a lot of time on Shocker, lands in backline. But Sakoshi picks up the mega kill and chases Virtus.pro out of their base.
Smart move by Sa though, using Fair Airstrike. Oh, Abyssal Arrow. Lash onto Cal.
Revitalize comes out. Cal stuck behind the wall. Gonna be able to dash over it just in time. No more casualties here.
It's a bit of slow tempo. But that was a smart move by Sa using Fair Airstrike. You have that Purify on as well.
The Flicker Fist Crack finds Sa! Farsa will go down to the hands of the Badang.
It's a very, very even game. After coming out from a dominant game from the side of Terra Queens, right now it's super, super even as Virtus.pro actually economy up ahead. Take a look at the jungle to jungle matchup. It does look like Rui has a much faster farm over Starsoy, but this doesn't put Starsoy out of the equation just as of yet. In the late game though, Rui is very sacrificial. That's why we talked about Joy not being in the meta as much. When you throw yourself in the mix, you're getting shot down by either Sa, either Starsoy, or Liv, and basically you're a sitting duck. Rui should be looking at getting something a little more defensive or trying to get that macro game going on. For the side of Starsoy, easier to execute. You have the Mountain Shocker that you always need to be in the team fights. But now the question is, in Virtus.pro, who do you send out to the sideways? Right now they're playing as a unit, they're stronger as 5, but is there anything that they could do to manage that sideways split push that tears Terra Queens apart?
Well, I think they do have the heroes that can do so. It's not quite as easy because they're... Oh, hold on, Luna Lin, why are you there? Barely gets out with the... I'm actually surprised that she's alive, but Virtus.pro now have easy control over the Lord.
Yeah, you also have the long lane getting pushed in as well. Rina starting things off, trying to give a little bit more vision.
Playing Rina, going to be engaged on once again by Daisy. Here comes Rui from the side lane. AOG used, misses, but helps hold the front line. The two-man taunt into the Lord knockout. Combs picks off mega kill to Liv. Last Insanity not doing enough damage. Luna Lin secures the Lord. But what did it cost? A double kill going over to Liv.
It buys them some time, but they have to deal with the side waves. This is what I'm telling you. Virtus.pro has it in them. They're pushing the top wave, the bottom waves, and now Terra Queens, they have to wait till Ku and Sakoshi comes up. Without the Aerithal, they don't really have that burst damage, so it's basically a Lord for them to buy time for the next Lord to spawn up, and it's the 18-minute Lord. The enhanced Lord will be in question.
Starsoy gonna start working on that mid tower with only 3 members alive. Terror Queen's not gonna be able to stop him from getting Rui trying to go for it, but it comes in Winter Crown. Rui punished for trying the 1v1.
Yeah, right now Virtus.pro, a huge 180 turn of emotions in the first game. A lot of stress, a lot of pressure, and right now they're just having fun. Nice little outplay from Starsoy on a kind of a 1v1 against Rui. But right now, the later this game goes, Starsoy does have the upper hand. You have that vision play, the vision control. You have the zonal potential from Sa that tries to push everyone out of way from Terra Queens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're seeing the quick 1-2 coming in here from Virtus.pro. They have definitely managed to adjust themselves back into this game. It's almost as if a little emotional breakdown we saw earlier never happened, and that's exactly what we're hoping for from these professional female teams. Terra Queens now running into an issue. Their comp highly dependent on finding the right time.
Now, as 90 seconds till the next Lord spawns up, this is the third Lord of the game, mind you. Virtus.pro slowing down the tempo, and so should we. The fourth Lord of the game. This is going to look really scary, especially for Terra Queens. Do they give it up? Do they throw Rui into the mix? Because this Joy is super sacrificial, and that's why I think it is super difficult for Joy to actually come back into the meta. Yes, you can deal with the side lanes, but Virtus.pro has the Mountain Shocker that Starsoy can use at their own disposal. If you try to go for that side waves, you get sought out by Virtus.pro, and Terra Queens are unable to find a way out of any tight situations.
It's definitely still possible for Rui to make something happen here. It really just comes down to patience. She needs to wait. There's a sensation of wanting to jump the gun, of wanting to get those kills, but Abyssal Arrow connects. Sa gonna eat a lot of damage, actually manages to fly away, but the Wings by Wings still has immortality intact too.
Purify already popped up, so that's a crucial battle spell out and about for that Farsa. Now, 20 seconds until the Enhanced Lord spawns up. We have everyone from Terra Queens already in position. Crew already giving a little bit more vision on reconnaissance duty down to mid-brush. As Virtus.pro, they're playing on the opposite side of that map because they know that the tower is in shambles. If they're able to take down that T3 up top side, Terra Queens has to watch their 6. Or their 12 for that matter.
Oh, here comes the Coveted airstrike once again. Ku goes in, Fist Crack connects with Saba. Daisy is buying so much time in space. Last Sandy comes in, bursts down the immortality with the electrifying beats. Rui gonna be caught in front though, but Daisy finally falls. The big purple man finally taken down after such a long time. Abyssal Arrow actually connects with Starsoy again, but Terra Queens knows better than to overcommit.
Yeah, the minion was there. That's 40 seconds. Daisy is offline. And Terra Queens, they need to be able to find a way to block out Virtus.pro from getting in too close. As Rhythm of Joy onto Sa.
Coveted airstrike forced out. Rui eats a lot of damage, but will survive and dash away to fight another day. Mountain Shocker, though, gonna scout out the entirety of Terror Queens.
Rui at half health is going to be a
They're going for the
tricky
concealed play.
situation.
Ku goes in with the Fist Crack, connected one. AOG used defensively, catches out Ku with the knockup. Last Insanity does a lot of damage. Winter Crown keeping Langrina alive. Electrifying Beats comes in. Starsoy is gone. Another will fall. Double kill to Sakoshi as Terra Queens bites back with a vengeance.
Rui still has that. It's still online with 3 members down for Virtus.pro. That was such a good pickup. Langrina starting things off 0-11 for this export. Giving a lot of space for Sakoshi to just gun everyone down. Another stun coming in. Liv taking a lot of damage.
Daisy in some trouble. Last Sandy comes out once again. Oh, look at the backline. The electrifying beats from Rui. Liv in trouble, but the crossbow tank comes out. The dash away, though. Rui survives all of it.
Too close for comfort. What a close sacrificial play from Rui. Man, oh man, this is starting to look... both these two teams playing on instinct right now. Rui trying to find flanks. She knows that she's sacrificial, but right now, since the Lord is being picked up, slowly marching up on that top side, they might be able to crack down that mid lane. Look at the burst coming in from Sakoshi as well. Liv can't survive from that Irithel burst.
The positioning really mattered. Oh, Feather Airstrike might have been used too soon here. Ku goes in, gets caught between 5 members with Mountain Shocker though. And that means they go down. Abyssal Arrow connects, but it's Cow. Cow will be fine.
Is the Revitalize coming in as well? Star Soy!
Rui, okay, learn her
immortality.
lesson. She knows she cannot afford to take those. She doesn't know the position of the rest of VP.
They're desperate. They still have the Lord in their possession, slowly marching down. That's a slow push up on that top side. Terror Queens eventually broken down that T1 mid side. You have all 3 lanes sinking and pushing in together. And Virtus.pro has to play on that defense.
Another Feather Airstrike used mid. Sikoshi dropped to half HP, but still alive. And now there is no Farsa ult to defend this mid tier 2. Sikoshi will slowly work. Rui comes in, forces the wings by wings out, and Cow bursted 100 to 0. Immortality gone. Cow falls. It is a 4v5 defense. Mountain Shackler lands on Sikoshi, but the last Insanity flies into the base. Terror Queens are turning it around. Double kill to the tie. Mega kill to Sikoshi. Liv and Sa the only survivors, but Terror Queen's very low on HP, and the Lord will eventually fall. That will be the end of the push.
They're taking turns. Arena goes in, but hold on a second. Rui toying with death, but eventually a little bit more discipline to get out of the way. Still have a little bit of silver lining though. 30 seconds until Star Soy actually eventually comes up as Terror Queens continues their rampage onto the turrets.
The minions keep pelting against the base. Rui looking for Liv. Bursted down Immortality, but the Abyssal Arrow into the mist crack. Shut down. Unstoppable. The Terror Queens have done it. They have taken game number 2 and the series.
Playing from the back 70% of the game, and at the last moment they played their cards right. Sikoshi coming into the fray, gunning everyone down and buying them that continuation, the momentum that they so desperately need. To be honest though, I was counting the Selena out of the way, but at the last moment just landing every single one of those Abyssal Arrows, Adafa.
It really came down to the opportunity. Would the Terror Queens be able to create the situation, the perfect spark to take that game away despite Virtus.pro's dominance throughout the early and mid game? And somehow they did it.
To be honest, GG to both sides. This was a heck of a game, and Virtus.pro actually showed us that fighting spirit, losing out on dominant performance, and right now at least they found a way back up. Emotions ran high. It turned around to 180 from the second game. And right now, man, who do you want to hear for? Honestly, though.
Man, I feel like we can hear from anyone at this point. Terror Queens, they came into this. We knew this was a confident team, a team willing